What is going on, guys? It's the Mad Dragon. We're back doing that time again. It is preview time. This is where we check on a game of Rugby 20 in the background. We talk about the official team's name that are going to be playing in the real match, and we talk about who we think is going to do well, who we think is going to do badly, and finally we give a score prediction. This is going to be Lions versus South Africa again. I've tried to mix it up. I mixed the teams up. We're going to mix up the weather a bit, make it a bit more interesting in the background for you. There's the teams. So let's get this game kicked off and underway. Alrighty, guys, here we are at the Diamond Arena. It's not going to be quite the the official stadium they're going to be playing at, but it's going to be fun. There's a Toje at the front of our line. As we do with these Lions previews, I've always let them run a little bit longer. We get a bit more atmosphere before we talk about the official teams named. We have, of course, changed up the team again. The chemistry will change within the game, and then that way we sort of have our own little Lions tournament going on, which has been a lot of fun. We are in the rain today. It's cloudy overhead there. We're going to be out in the rain. I thought I'd try and mix it up a bit. I don't know if it changes too much the aspect of the game in the background, but I thought it'd be better than just playing the same game 3 times. There's our new team for this one. So we've had a couple of switch-ups. A lot of this team actually going to be playing in the official game, so that's going to be fun. And there's, of course, the made-up South Africa team, because they're not licensed in this game. We look forward to Rugby 22, and hopefully they can have some more licenses. But not for now. Dan Bigger will get us kicked off and underway. We'll go left, but we're going to go high this time. We're going to mix it up, because that's what we expect from this official game going to be going on. We expect some big change-ups going on. We, of course, got to see that South Africa versus Lions Test 1, and went against a couple of people's opinions on how it's going to go, including my own. I thought South Africa looked good after the South Africa A game. We did the preview for it. What else have we did in terms of that game? We also did the talk with the Rugby Guru. I was involved with a live stream over on his channel as well about this game. And it just didn't go the way I was expecting it to go. I then did the review video for anyone who's seen that one about that first test. And I sort of broke that one down a little bit more. And the Lions looking good, and South Africa looking like they've sort of run out of tricks already. And they haven't even really begun to kick off. The Lions have announced their team yesterday. I did do a bit of a reaction video to that one because they happened so much earlier than I expected. I expected the teams to be announced today. So if you want to go watch a little bit more of a breakdown on the Lions team, we will be going back over it in this one. But that will probably be a little bit more in-depth about my initial reaction. So looking towards this game, what have the Lions got to work on? For me, certainly the issues were around their kicking. They're needing to kick far too much. And that was about it, really. There was a couple of silly mistakes and a couple of penalties going against them, which, they could have probably avoided. But silly mistakes and silly choices to kick were really the big ones for me. Ball in hand, they look very good. They look very dominating. I think Warren Gatland will take a lot of positives away from that game. Certainly a couple of referee decisions going more positive their way. I thought a couple of one of the tries that got disallowed for South Africa was very tight. There was also some potential yellow card situation with Hamish Watson and a dump tackle. We've certainly seen them being given before for very similar things, so they got a little bit lucky there, but ultimately they'll be very happy with that first game. As we see Ali Price here about to go over for a try already. So we'll quickly talk about this Lions team. Like I said, I've already sort of gone a little bit more in depth. There are only 2 changes to the starting 15. Mako Vunapola, Luke Cowan-Dickie, Ty Furlong in that front row. So Mako Vunapola coming instead of Rory Sutherland. Wyn Jones still out injured. Certainly a positive move. I think Mako Vunapola played well when he came on in that game. And he'll be looking to try and continue that good work in terms of that scrummaging. Mauro Toje and the Alwyn Jones combo in that lock department, they did very well together. The line-outs could certainly use a bit of work for my personal taste. I would like them to see some more sort of standard techniques. Maybe they know how much they're going to struggle against people like Etzebeth and Mostet in the line-out situation. So they threw a few too many long balls. They threw wildly short balls. They threw some to the wrong side on a short ball. Was one done by Luke Cowan-Dickie, which was bizarre. So hopefully they can work on the line-outs a little bit and get some actual jumpers in the air, but we'll see how that goes. The back row, Courtney Laws, Tom Curry, Jack Conan. This was a back 3 that worked very well in that game. Tom Curry probably the weakest out of the 3. Courtney Laws certainly standing out to be very strong. Second week in a row, he's going to be playing instead of Ty Byrne in that 6 shirt, which a lot of people are annoyed about. I don't think it's a bad move. I think Courtney Laws was sort of pinned on that he could be starting in that 6 shirt, and unfortunately for Ty Byrne, he's just a little bit too good at too many areas, which makes him the best substitute probably in world rugby. It's not really what you want when he wants to get time starting on the pitch. I'm not sure if we'll see him going on in this game too early either, because Maro Toje and Courtney Laws and Alwyn Jones, playing that full 80 of that first game, and Courtney Laws only coming off in that final 10. So hopefully we'll see a bit of a switch on there, but Courtney Laws will certainly be happy with his game, impressing a lot of people there. He was my personal man of the match in that first game. Tom Curry having a couple of penalties going against him. Silly mistakes. It's stuff that can be rectified. It's stuff you can remove from the second test. No need to warrant it too much. I was wondering whether Hamish Watson might get a start, given that Tom Curry wasn't completely on the ball, and I might even like to see Tom Curry start in that second half again, just due to the ability to play 6 or 7 or 8 if you needed him to. But he's going to start his second test. Hopefully he can remove those silly mistakes. And Jack Conan being there for the crash ball. There was talk when I took the live stream of Rugby Guru about whether they were going to be missing the crash ball 12, the inside centre, not making the most of it, but when someone like Bundyaki, but Jack Conan can completely fill that role when you need him to off of rucks and stuff. And to be honest, had a good game all round for a number 8, so no real negatives there. One change in the halfback combo here. Conor Murray and Dan Biggar. Conor Murray coming in instead of Ali Price in the starting thing. And this for me is the main mistake of this Lions team. I certainly would have stuck with Ali Price. The ball speed coming out from rucks and stuff was so much better than the South African one. I'm really surprised we're not going to be seeing Ali Price in here. This is probably going to be just more of a settled game. They're just going to want to have ball control. I actually think Ali Price has done better with the box kicks than Conor Murray, so I'm not even sure why Conor Murray's been moved in here, other than to give him a bit of time in the game. Maybe, not sure about that. Dan Biggar back from his HIA, nice to see. So he'll be making that good start again. The centre partnership, Chris Harris comes in instead of Elliot Daly, and Robbie Henshaw continues. Robbie Henshaw, I thought, had a really good game. A lot of people talk about whether fatigue with kicking, tiredness with kicking, and seems to be doing very well in that first test. So perfectly standard move. Chris Harris coming in just because of a couple of mistakes Elliot Daly made. The press has been a little bit harsh on Daly, to be fair. Some of the things he had wrong, most people probably wouldn't get pulled up for in a lot of games. Bit harsh on him. But Chris Harris coming in there will set down that defensive line. We'll be looking to stop people like Dialende and Am from just crashing up that centre channel. Elliot Daly, certainly I wouldn't have him down as being the most defensive player when considered against Chris Harris on this Lions tournament. I think Chris Harris has been very good in terms of defensive work. So don't think it's a bad move, think it's good there. And finally, the back three here. Duhan van der Merwe, Anthony Watson and Stuart Hogg. Stuart Hogg had a great game. Would absolutely have him nailed on here again. Anthony Watson retaining that 14 shirt, so they've got a bit of confidence in Anthony Watson, and also can play fullback if you need him to, that little switch there. Duhan van der Merwe retaining the left wing, the man who I was a little bit 50-50 on whether it would be a good call against Colby. He certainly seemed to be able to play through Colby, but the area for me where Duhan van der Merwe was messing up was under those high balls. Colby beat him to almost every high ball, considering he has about 1.5 foot on him. Colby was doing real well in the air, not managing to take the balls too much, but beating him to the ball was certainly a win. I'm hoping in the second game we get to see Duhan van der Merwe open up a little bit more room, a little bit more running space just to smash into people like Colby. I think that'll be a much more impressive way to use Duhan van der Merwe. If you're just going to have him on the wing and play a lot of high ball kicks, I would much prefer to see Josh Adams there, really. But we'll see how Duhan van der Merwe gets on. But it's a strong 1-15. It's going to be pretty much the same team that was playing last week, so not too many negatives. We say as we'll do some subs myself, we'll get the second half underway. Replacements, let's talk about replacements. Ken Owens, Rory Sutherland, Cal Sinclair, again pretty much the same. The only switch here, Sutherland off. I think this is a good call. I think McAvoy outshone Sutherland in that first test, so I don't think that's a terrible move. Tyg Byrne in there at that replacement 4-5-6, wherever you need him to. Jack of all trades, ultra Superman sub that he is. Real shame that he doesn't get to have these starts, but he's just so good, and it's a team game. Eventually, you can't just think about the one man on his own. He's going to be a superb team support here as we go for a little crossfield kick that might go a bit too far. Yes, it does. Faletau coming in there. This for me was again one of the weirder decisions. No real need for Faletau. You can see that the Lions aren't playing that spread ball wide technique they like to, where they put their eights on the wing. It wasn't happening in the first test. Whether it will or won't in this second game, we certainly haven't seen Jack Conan on the wings that much. And I don't really know what Faletau offers currently in terms of inform that Jack Conan wouldn't. So maybe they're just for coverage of injury or something. Maybe they believe the front row, or the forwards, are going to be a little bit more impactful in this game. But for me, not really necessary. And then the back three replacements here. So we've got Ali Price, Owen Farrell and Elliot Daly as the backs. They've gone for that 5-3 split again. They don't want to mess around too much with this 6-2, which is quite surprising. Ali Price, I'm sure, will make that second half return probably 50-55 minutes. I just don't see why they wouldn't have him on for a great potential of the game. Owen Farrell for that 10-12 coverage. got a lot really done. So, you know what, he had an alright game once he came on. Nothing really too stand out, but you don't need him to. He just needs to finish off the game. That's the idea of them. And finally, Elliot Daly on that bench. So you might see both of them coming on in that 12-13. The English centre partnership going to work together there potentially. And Elliot Daly on for those last-minute kicks. So, yeah, no real gripes about this team. I personally would have Ali Price instead of Conor Murray in that starting 15. And maybe I'd have Hamish Watson instead of Faletau. But in all honesty, it's a pretty solid team, and I imagine they're going to be looking to just do the same thing as they did in the first game. So, will it be interesting to see how they get on? Hopefully, the Lions can show a little bit more difference rather than just hoping to close a game out. But if they win game 2, I guess that's where we'll see the big changes made. So, let's talk about their opponents. South Africa certainly won't have had the game they wanted to in that first test. They look to be having a really substantial lead. A lot of people won't have been expecting them to have that sort of second half that they actually ended up having. They'll be annoyed they didn't come away from that game with a win. And will hopefully be managing to hold out. Pollard with a boot is looking good. He missed a couple of kicks, which hopefully he can rectify before this second test, because I think kicking for them is going to be one of the main ways they seem to be scoring points. There don't seem to be a great spread in that back line, being able to actually do anything with the ball other than just give it to Dialende and let him smash it forwards and then Willie LaRue to kick it. So hopefully we'll see a bit of diversity from them. So looking at their team, unfortunately I couldn't find a really cool graphic like I did last week. I've had to steal this one from Ultimate Rugby, so thank you to Ultimate Rugby. Please don't copyright me. Starting off in this front row, so Kitsoff, Mbonabi and Malherbe are going to be taking over now in this front row. So obviously they weren't happy with how that scrummaging went. They're putting the big boys on to start off with. Anything that I've done in terms of talks with the rugby guru, he's been helping me learn a little bit more about South African rugby, and he certainly maintained that the bench last week had a stronger front row than the starting. They've switched it up this week. They've put the big boys on to start. They want to get that upper hand, see if they can get a couple tries maybe in that first half, and see if they can work through it just to get that point advantage is more where they're going. Etzebeth and Mostert going to retain that lock position. They work perfectly well. Their lineouts, I'm trying to even think back now about their lineouts. I don't think they were too terrible. I think that, Etzebeth's such a big man to throw to. There's no real danger in giving it to him. One change in this back row here. So we've got Khaleesi as captain again. Steph du Toit, who's just an animal, isn't he? He's just a machine. It's so much fun watching Peter Steph du Toit do all things rugby. I really enjoy watching him. However, Vice is going to be coming in instead of Smith now in that 8 shirt. Now, a couple of people did talk about that Smith was going to be the weak link in that back row. I don't think he was too weak, to be fair. I think he had a relatively good game. A couple of mistakes from him that I think were sort of more exacerbated because people were looking directly for him to mess up, but I don't think it was too bad overall from him. Faf de Klerk and Pollard are going to retain this halfback partnership, so perfectly fine there. And in fairness, both of them working quite well. Pollard's boot, not terrible. He'll be looking for a better percentage kicking this week, but Faf de Klerk having, again, a brilliant first test, so really looking forward to seeing more from him. Dialende and Am, the centre partnership we got to see last week. The only real attacking threat to me came from both of them. We say as South Africa are on their only attacking threat here in the background. We'll try and shut that one down. Yeah, there's so many balls given to that inside centre channel. Hopefully they're going to mix that up a little bit. And finally that back three, Mapimpi, Colby and LaRue. So not a lot of changes. They were relatively happy apparently with how that team was working out. Only real changes coming in that front row for them. So it will be interesting to see how they manage to adapt this game. They don't want to just repeat that first game unless they're going to repeat that first half twice. I don't see what the big changes are going to be for me. In all honesty, it's just going to be the back retention is going to be a little bit better. We'll quickly talk about the replacements here. So Marks, Nyankane and Koch will be coming on. So, sort of trying to change up that front row again. Hopefully they'll get that scrum in order. Lou Diego, who we haven't really got to see so much in this sort of first test because he, of course, people playing so well outside of him. Marco Verstappen, really looking forward to seeing him get back on this pitch because he's got a lot to offer. We just don't get to see too much from it. Quagga Smith, with a great name, but seemed to actually be doing really well in that first test. His name was mentioned an awful lot, so looking forward to seeing him. Herschel Yantes, going to be coming on from the bench as well. And finally, Damien Willemse. So, those back two replacements again, that's where the sort of worries begin to show is their backs replacements, but their forwards looking good. Really looking forward to see how they're going to be able to get on here with these sort of new sets of forwards and trying to utilise them. But I really think, for me, South Africa just need to use their backs more. When we saw the 2 tries that they almost had, the long range one that got disallowed because of the kicking and the fumbling. We had another one that was the kick onwards one that got disallowed. After Clerk managing to get his try. But there are points to be had, and the Lions' wall isn't as solid as you might think. And I think if they can get through the backs, it'll certainly be of use to them and they can make the most of it. But for me, the score prediction, what do we think? In all honesty, I was very worried at the end of that second half that we'd seen almost everything from this South African team, and I don't know what else they have to bring. So unless they can get those backs in order, for me, I'm going to call a Lions win here. And I think it might be a little bit more convincing now that the Lions... I don't think we've seen everything from the Lions yet. I think we're going to see them throw absolutely everything at this game, seal out the tour, and then next week will be where they sort of try to mess about a bit with the team and so on. So I'm going to call a Lions win, and for me, I'm going to call a Lions win by... I'm going to say 9 points for this one. But I, of course, guys, as I say in every video, I am but one man on the internet talking nonsense about rugby. So make sure you drop down in the comments your thoughts on the game, your score prediction, who you think's going to do well, who you think's going to do badly, and anything else you might want to chuck down in the comments. I always enjoy reading through them, and I do try and read through as many as I can. If you've enjoyed this video, remember to drop this video a like, and if you are enjoying the Line series, remember to subscribe to the channel just to keep up to date with all the videos we are doing on the channel in relation to the South Africa tour with the Lions. I hope you've all enjoyed today, guys. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.